Hey guys, it's Imperial Silver here today. So today we're going to talk about are US coins or world coins better to collect. This is obviously going to be a bit of a biased opinion. I'm just going to tell you some facts, and then I'll tell you my conclusion at the end, and you can take your own guess off that. Also, late happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Sorry I didn't make a video last week. I was doing family events. I hope you all had an amazing Thanksgiving. So we'll start with the US coins. The first thing about US coins, first off, is the information for these is insane. There's like so many sets you can collect. Every like date, mint, all that stuff is known pretty much to the point. Patterns are known really well. Like you're not gonna find anything on US coins that's not known unless it's like a fake or something. And even then, a lot of the fakes are even slightly well documented. So there's that. Set the focus a bit better for you guys. There you go. And yeah, second thing is with that mintages and all that stuff is well known. I find U.S. coins have really high prices for like rarity mints, like smaller mintages get a lot more money. So this is a 1903 S, and there was 1,200,000 of these made, basically. A little more, but basically that. In most other countries, that number would be like the highest mintage, and it would mean almost nothing. Or it'd be like a mintage that at least didn't really mean much. In the U.S., this coin has a pretty high premium because of that. This is like probably like 100, depending on the grade you'd give it. I'd probably give it like 100, maybe a bit over. Maybe you go all the way to like 150 if you get really lucky. But that's like pretty insane compared to the usual price of like 30 bucks, 20 bucks for a Morgan dollar, and this is like a pretty non-rare date. So that's something you have to keep in mind when you're doing U.S. coins. Like, if you want to get every year or something, that's gonna get really expensive really fast just for those rare dates. Like, this is like a pretty. This is not a rare date by many people. This is a pretty common rare, like a semi-rare, I guess you would consider it. Um, yeah, it's just not gonna have that. One nice thing though is if you're just doing a type, you can get most of the types with a reasonable budget. There's some of the older ones. Some of the older silvers tend to be pretty expensive. I'm not counting golds when I'm doing either of these. Um, but yeah, you can get most of them for like okay prices. If you're not doing every year, you can get a Morgan for 30. One of these you could get for like probably pretty cheap. Uh, it's doable. There's like I said, a couple earlier dollars, like the really early dimes and stuff. Yeah, those are going to be expensive, but for the most part, you get like 90% or 95% of U.S. coins for like pretty affordable prices. You're just doing a type. Um, it's not too bad. The other thing about U.S. coins is they're kind of easy to buy and sell. Like you can find U.S. coins all the time online, almost in every shop in the world. And they're easy to sell. People gobble them up. They like their high percentages. They're really collectible. They look nice. They have really classic kind of looks. They're really well recognized in the coin community. So that's like some things you should consider if you're trying to do maybe more like a business side. U.S. coins might be a little bit better because you can flip them and resell them. But on the other side of that, I find that they tend to be a lot more consistent with their prices. You won't really find good deals for coins quite as much. Like you can, but it's going to be a little bit more random. We'll get into that later with the foreign coins. Um, One other thing is nice about them, their silver percentages are quite high. So all these are 90% silver, which is great for stacking silver, which is a lot better than a lot of the foreign coins, which have very random numbers. And the only exception to that is I think like the war nickel and the half dollar. There's like a couple others. I know the 3 cent silver. I actually have one on my desk right now. Mine. I haven't put them away yet. You won't get a good vision of that, but that's like a 75%. But that's like not a coin you would ever stack. It's so tiny. But for the most part, they're pretty high percentages, so it's nice in that aspect to collect their silvers. Um, the other thing is, I would say for U.S. coins that you have to be careful of is fakes. So this is a 1799, and that's like a crazy key date. And I did think this coin was real. I didn't pay for like a 1799 price for it, but I got in like a bin and I got pretty excited. I sent it in. Sadly, it is an altered date. I think it was an 1798 or 1794. I surmised, but like that is hard to tell, right? Like, so that's one thing about U.S. coins that I find is not as prevalent in the world market. You can find fake Morgan dollars all the time. Like they're everywhere. It's something you have to be more careful of in the U.S. market. I still keep this coin because technically it's altered, so it is technically a coin, but it just got like changed to try to make someone make more money. Um, but yeah, you gotta be careful. Obviously, with like really nice high condition coins, it gets a little trickier to catch them. Like this is not a fake. I'm not trying to show it as a fake. I'm just trying to show it because it's probably one of my nicer ones. That's another thing. If you're trying to catch like higher quality coins in the U.S., that can be pretty expensive. That's pretty expensive no matter what. But I find the U.S. like the high like MSs tend to be pretty expensive compared to like European MSs on average. Um, but yeah, that's kind of what I would say. For fake dates, you'd probably be looking for like 1909 VDBS. Like that's going to be a very common fake to date because it's a little penny. It's just a tiny little thing on the bottom. Actually, I have my VDB right here. No, this is not my VDB. I had a VDB, I thought, but maybe not. But yeah, like tiny, tucking that in the end and then giving like a little S mark is not crazy hard on a big mintage like the 1909 S. That's kind of U.S. coins. I think they're great. But yeah, we'll just kind of go into like the world coins because like I said, it's gonna take me a bit longer. Look how this is rolling. So these are like a whole bunch of like really diverse world coins. We got like one from pretty much everywhere. We got things from Brazil, Portugal, Spanish Philippines, Japan, Africa, India. All over the world. I try to be pretty diverse. One thing with world coins, like kind of, it's obviously if you live in one of these countries, if you live in Brazil, if you live in Portugal, if you live in the Philippines, these coins are going to be more plentiful to you. But on average, world coins, you're going to be. I'm just talking about them in a wide variety because a lot of the stuff for all of them kind of holds true, but doesn't hold true for the U.S. coins. So when I talk about that rarity of them, like, oh, and me in Canada, it's hard to come across Spanish Philippines. That might just be a regional thing for me. If you're in the Philippines or maybe you're somewhere near the Philippines, it might be easier to get those coins to you. It's not really, there's like focusing on this, hey? I'm trying to get it to focus so don't get that glare, but it just wants to. So you're gonna have to live with it, guys. I'm sorry. Obviously, world coins can be pretty diverse. As you can see here, we have like completely different range of coins. We got square coins, coins with holes. Oh, we got rectangles, squares, circles. We got counter marks, which you don't really get in the U.S. ever. I don't know if there is U.S. counter marked coins, to be honest. Like ones done by the U.S. So that's one thing. It's just way more countries. So you're doing like hundreds of countries over like a way bigger time span because the world's been around. Been making coins for much longer than the U.S. has. The U.S. has been making coins for like pretty much 200 years, a little over, and the world's been making coins since 500 BC, basically, for like true coins. That's like Ionia, I think, starts making the first coins. So that's something to keep in mind. You will have way more stuff. That does mean the info on them can be pretty hit and miss. The more recent, it's going to be better. The more far back you go, it starts to get shaky. You can find coins that they're only one known in the world, which is kind of cool if you're doing like ancients or even like some like the earlier European, like medieval times. I think they still have some of those. So that's something to keep in mind. I would say that world coins can be more profitable actually. Just because if I sold you this lot, like, and you didn't know what it was, you might lowball it. I might lowball it really hard, or you might like buy it. Like the price, world coins tend to fluctuate much harder than U.S. coins. For the simple reason that people really watch U.S. coins and stuff that I've seen, but world coins seem to fluctuate a lot harder. So like this Spanish Philippines coin, you might be able to get it for 50. It might go for 200. Who knows, right? Like on average, they kind of go for 100, but you can get these for quite a bit cheaper. I got this for way cheaper than that. I got really lucky. Sometimes world coins just kind of get missed because people don't really know the info on them. They don't really catch it. So I find you can get really crazy deals for world coins. But on the other side, they also take longer to sell. And, you might have to drop your price yourself. So it's kind of hit and miss. I find world coins are a lot more fluctuatable in price. This isn't true for all of them. I'd probably say Spanish coins are a bit of an exception to that. You know, because Spain kind of has like a hot market, kind of like the U.S. So their coins tend to have a little bit more of a stationary premium. You know, they tend to be a little higher on average, so that's something to keep in mind. But it kind of varies from country to country. Portugal is a really cheap one, in my opinion, to collect. It just never. I don't get why. Portugal has some really beautiful designs. It's from the Azores. It's a pretty beat up coin, this one, to be honest, but it's still pretty nice looking. It's got a pretty unique design. Big copper piece. But that's something you got to keep in mind. Is like it really fluctuates between. So if you have like a UK crown, UK crowns are pretty up there, but they're not like they're not insane either, right? Like they're not like blowing out of the water usually. Um, and another thing I would say is that silver percentages can very wildly. I think these are 90%. I'm not even sure. I think I actually think this is 75% or something. Um, this UK crown is 92.5 or 90. I don't remember if they made the jump yet. These Syrian ones are a lower percentage. I don't remember them exactly. These are from Syria. They're pretty cool. Actually, they're a pretty nice design. Uh, they're pretty interesting. They just have like that's the other thing about world coins. You have all these weird designs, like stuff you wouldn't see. So I quite like these. I think they're quite unique looking. But I don't know their silver percentage, but it's not high because you can kind of see like that kind of almost graying tint. You know, um, that's something to keep in mind. They're a little harder to stack for like silver purposes. They're still possible. You can definitely stack a lot of like foreign like world coins, but it's just you don't. It's a lot harder to do like a big mix of them because they're just going to be so much more varied. You know, so you have to kind of know what you're getting into. So you might collect just like one country or one coin particularly for your stack. So that can be a little tricky. As I said earlier with the fakes, I don't find fakes are nearly as prevalent in the world coin community. You still have some fakes. You're still gonna get them no matter what, but they are a lot more rare, and they tend to be a little bit more like isolated. I know there's a lot of fakes for some like Chinese coins out there. I think the Fat Man dollar, I think it's what it's called. That's like a really commonly faked one, but they're like for stuff like this and this, it's just not common. The market there is too small, and you don't really see them. Occasionally they're out there though, but you don't have to worry about nearly as many fakes when you do world coins unless you're doing very specific ones. Pretty much anything that's like really expensive for world coins will maybe be, but yeah, it's just not really a thing. Maybe if you're going really far back, I know with ancients there's a little bit more, but even then, it's if you know what you're doing, they're not too hard to catch usually. Other thing, like I said, the key dates from the U.S. coins, it's not really a thing with world coins. There is areas where you can do these crazy um, high price points for like because these coins are super rare or something. But on average, it just doesn't really get up there for any of them. Nearly as much as the U.S. coins. Like some people will try and sell them like that, but I just don't find it really works. There is also like kind of a mixed area, like the Philippines, I would say, because they were like a U.S. colony, but they're also that's not focusing at all. Hey, sorry guys. There we go. So this is kind of like an in between. They kind of have a bit of both. That's why I tossed it in there because I thought it would be an interesting point to bring up. But yeah, you're not really gonna get that really too much key dates centric, which I think kind of holds off the people that make fakes a bit because that's where they usually try and make their stuff. And you just get weird stuff too, like countermarks. Like I said, I don't think there's countermarks in the U.S. at all. It's a little coffee bean. It's from Brazil. It's a 40 over 80 Rios. I think that's how you pronounce that. Or Reese. There's the Brazilian coat of arms with like a little hammer imprint there. So yeah, but that's kind of the main things I could think of when I was when we're discussing this type of stuff, like why U.S. or or why world coins. I think it really comes down to your personal opinion. Personally, I like the world coins a little bit more, mostly just because of the variation. Like if you look at these two coins, you can kind of see a similarity in these, but these world coins have no similarity at all. And there's just such a big wide range of them that it really keeps it interesting, I find. You also get these like good deals. Like I've got my world coin collection for much cheaper on average per coin than my U.S. coins. That's just because you're keeping your eyes open. You can catch world coins slipping through. I've never really caught U.S. coin. I've caught them once or twice. I got like a couple flying eagles like a year back for like pretty cheap. Eagle cents. I don't have any out right now, but yeah. So that's just something I would say. Personally, I think both are great. Tell me in the comments what you think down below. Do you collect the world or U.S. coins, or if you collect a bit of both? You know, tell me what you think. And or if you think there's another reason to collect U.S. or world coins, toss it in there. And until next time, guys, keep collecting.